get you on the radio. Yeah, you gotta get on the radio. You gotta get on the radio.
Welcome back to Around the House with Eric G. This is hour number 2. If you're just joining us, make sure you catch us on the podcast. It is everywhere out there that you listen to podcasts. I don't care if it's on Spotify, to iTunes, to SoundCloud, to Alexa. We're out there to catch us.
We're all over the place.
We are.
And if there's somewhere we're not, shoot us an email. Let us know. We'll get there.
Yeah. How do you get a hold of us via email? Well, let me tell you. That is ath@kxl.com. Get us right there. We'd love to hear it. So, we've been talking remodeling cost versus value. I'm Eric G.
I'm Dane Vaughter.
So what we're doing today is we've been talking about what's a project cost and what's it going to cost you in the return or lack of return on this project. So last hour we talked about bathrooms. We dove into a bunch of different things about that. But now we're going to talk kitchens because kitchens are a big deal. By the way, give us a call, 503-521-7072. 503-521-7072. We'd love to put you in the show. So that's how you get a hold of us. Call, text, send us an email.
Absolutely.
Message us.
What's that?
Message us. Could even get us on Facebook. Either way.
Anywhere. Email, Facebook, give us a call on the number, text us. We just want to make sure that we are available to you.
Perfect. So let's talk about kitchen remodels here because we started talking about this in the last segment here, but this is kind of the big deal when it comes to remodeling. It's the big scary one. So let's define out what a major kitchen remodel is for a mid-range, or what as I call entry level.
Yeah.
So you're going to update a outdated 200 square foot kitchen with a functional layout of 30 lineal feet of semi-custom wood cabinets, including a 3x5 foot island, laminate countertops for mica. That's not quartz, granite, whatever. Laminate countertops, standard double tub stainless steel sink with standard single level faucet. Include energy efficient range, vented range hood, built-in microwave, dishwasher, garbage disposal, custom lighting, new vinyl flooring.
Ugh.
Yeah. Finished with painted walls, trim, and ceiling. That's why I don't call that a mid-range. I call it an entry level, and that could be a great kitchen for a lot of people out there. However, there's expectations for most people are maybe a little higher than that. So, $67,288. $67,288 here in the Portland area, kind of the Northwest. Okay. That's a good number for the Northwest. Now, if you start working down the coast a little bit, getting into California and looking at some of the more expensive areas, that is $72,513. National average is slightly below the West Coast up here at $66,196. So they're saying out of that, you're going to get about 60, almost 61% back of that. Not a bad return, but you do get a good kitchen.
Yeah.
And you got to keep in mind, too, with these things, that when you dive into these, you might not get every dollar back, but if you're out trying to sell your house in a year or two, and you're the only brand new updated kitchen in your price point, you're going to sell that house a little bit faster. Yep. You're going to have more people interested in it. So a lot of people don't like buying homes and then having to do some major remodel projects on it. So if we dive into the upscale kitchen, which is what a lot of people dream to have the kitchen at.
And their idea of a remodeled kitchen.
This is where we're at. So you're going to go through on this one, update a 200 square foot kitchen with 30 lineal feet of top and align custom white cabinets with built-in sliding shelves and other interior accessories, stone countertops with a ceramic or glass tile backsplash, built-in refrigerator, commercial grade cooktop and vent hood, wall oven, built-in microwave, install high-end undermount sink with designer faucets, water filtration system, new general task lighting, including low voltage under cabinet lights, tile or similar flooring that looks like wood.
Yeah.
Could even be wood in that. So you go, okay, that's what most people think of a kitchen project. Hold on to your wallet.
Because it's about to disappear.
It's leaving the building right now. Major kitchen remodel here in the Portland area for that, $133,808. So, good news is we're still $10,000 in the West Coast average.
Okay.
So we're a little less, but we're really close to what the national average is at $131,000. So for that, you're at $133,000 for that.
And what's the recoup on it?
55%.
Oh.
Yeah. So you get 50 cents on the dollar back.
But, I mean, if you find somebody that really likes this upscale kitchen, again,
Yeah.
this could be a selling point. If you're looking to sell in the next couple of years, it could be a good selling point.
And, if your kitchen's done, it's done. There's things with maintenance that you're not going to always get the money back on. If your kitchen doors are falling off, the drawers are failing, and you've got water damage or something else in there, guess what? You're diving into it. You might not get the money back, but you still kind of have to do it at some point. Otherwise, you're really hurting the value of the house. So
Well, at least you're going to get in there and get it fixed.
Yeah, so some of that stuff is just maintenance. It's like going to get your car worked on. You're not going to get that money back when you have to go change the alternator and that other stuff. Sometimes you just got to fix it.
Yep.
So, all right, so that kind of wraps up the kitchen side of things. Now, I want to dive into some of the bigger subjects out there that you dive into with this deck edition.
Going outdoors.
We're going outdoors here. Composite deck, talking Trex, TimberTech, AZEK, one of the different
Good
brands
quality
out there.
deck.
Good quality deck out there. So this is going to be a 16 by 20 foot deck using pressure treated joists supported by 4x4 posts anchored to concrete piers. You're going to install composite deck material in a simple linear pattern, include built-in bench and planter on the same decking material, include stairs, assuming 3 steps to grade. 3 steps, so you're only about 3 feet up or less. Well, actually, no, you're under 3 feet high, depending on what grade is. Provide a complete railing using a matching system made of the same composite as the decking material. So when you look at that, okay, seems reasonable. Yeah. This is not like Dr. Decks out there who does the crazy, awesome radius steps and built-in lighting and that's built into the steps and just...
That's a couple feet off the ground, composite deck.
Composite deck. So when you look at the numbers on that, $20,053. So 2053.
20053.
Yeah, 20053. So $20,000 in round numbers. But how much do you get back? 70.2%.
Oh, wow.
So besides giving yourself some outdoor living space, which is nice because now you've added on a space out there, now you're getting about 70.2% back out of that on average.
You're adding real value there.
Yeah. Now, the cool thing with that is that the Pacific job cost average isn't much different. That's at $21,858.
Yeah.
So that number, ironically, is different.
Just about $1,000.
Yeah, about $1,000 different. So that's not bad. So that's a pretty standardized number out there for that. So interesting stuff. But you get a lot of square footage back. So now let's talk about a backyard patio.
Okay.
So this is like somebody like having the wall come in and doing something really cool for you. So backyard patio is install a 20 by 20 foot flagstone patio on the ground, flat ground behind the home. Connect house and patio via a lift and slide glass door. Then you're going to put a gas-powered fire pit in the center of the patio. You're going to put 4 mid-priced all-weather deck chairs. Opposite of the home, install a stone veneer modular kitchen unit with a gas grill, mini fridge, and sink and storage. On each corner, you're going to put in a 20-foot by 20-foot cedar pergola capable of holding an awning that can shade the flagstone area. Install mid-priced low-voltage lights on the pergola sufficient to illuminate patio at night. Install underground gas and electrical connections. So you got a big old backyard.
This sounds nice.
Estate. It sounds nice. I need one of those out in my backyard. So backyard patio, $57,433. That's what it costs. Now, if you're going to go into the Pacific West Coast, average is 63, but you only get about 58.2 back of that. But depending on how you do it, and if you design it within the home, I think you'll get a lot more out of that. If you design this to have a little bit of heat, a little bit of stuff that's going to be manageable out there, you're going to be good to go. Because that number, if you add it like it's an addition, you're going to be okay. Because what happens is now you've actually extended out your house. If you can make that last 6 or 9 months out there where it's comfortable to be out there because you've got heaters or coolers and things like that to do it, it's kind of an extension of your home.
It feels like a true extension of your living space.
Now, if you can design that to be a true extension of living space, you'll almost always get 100% of that back.
Because it can be sold as such.
Yeah, because you can use it. Now you've got outdoor eating, outdoor living. So again, this number says with this, but if you design it correctly and take it that next extra step where it's a conditioned space, you'll be good. So that's how you're going to save yourself some money and get that back. All right, we can get back. We're going to talk about entry doors and how to get some curb appeal going just as soon as Around the House returns.
It's been a long
House with Eric G. This is where we talk home improvement every Saturday afternoon. I'm Eric G.
I'm Dane Vodder.
We've been talking cost versus value. What's a project going to cost you these days? Nobody really knows. Get some ideas because they've been watching Home and Garden TV, maybe DIY Network, maybe Discovery Channel, but guess what? Maybe even a little TLC out there. Those numbers are rarely right.
This is where you find out that it costs a little bit more than $10,000 to remodel that bathroom.
Absolutely. Even though that they swear by it in the flip shows, they're wrong. So we've been talking all these different bathrooms and decks and kitchens. If you missed that, don't worry. It's on the podcast. You can check that out anywhere out there. It's going to be on, you'll see Facebook. So here's the thing. If you're on the Facebook page, which is Around the House with Eric G, or at ATHKXL, you will get all of this stuff because we're going to remind you when the podcast comes up. We're going to send all this stuff out to you. But you can catch it on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google, Spotify, anywhere out there you catch these things. Even Alexa, ask her for it.
And you can follow us on like SoundCloud and whatnot, at which point you'll get alerts every time that we post up the show over the weekend.
One little trick for Alexa is you sit there and go, hey, Alexa, listen to Around the House with Eric G on TuneIn. Boom. You'll catch the latest show right there.
They're probably listening to another show now of Around the House thanks to you setting off their Alexas.
At least I didn't order them a pizza.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sure they'll like it.
No, I don't own stock in pizza yet. So that's So here's the thing. So we've been talking about backyard patios. I want to dive into entry door replacement. So let's talk about just a basic steel entry door. I'm not talking the big 8-foot high doors with all the crazy steel work on them, but I'm just talking a steel front entry door. So when you look at that, their definition, and it's all about the definitions with this, and this is the 2019 Cost versus Value Report from Remodeling Magazine. They do a great job with this every year. So remove an existing 3068, so that's a 3-foot by 6'8" entry door with jambs, and replace with a new 20-gauge steel unit, including a clear dual-pane half-glass panel, jambs, aluminum threshold with composite stops. This is your walk into your home center and get your decent steel door with a glass panel in it. That's kind of what this is. So exterior brick mold, 2.5-inch interior Colonial Ranch casing. You're going to replace the existing lock set in that. So that's that whole door, lock set, everything else. But it's steel. You know, it's not your high-end fiberglass by any means. But that number, $1,851. So it's $1,900 and almost $2,000 if you do it on the entire West Coast as an average.
Okay.
Cool thing, 93.8% back.
I was going to say,
you're going to
anything
get dollar for dollar. You're getting that back.
From what I've understood in here, and I believe this is about the third or fourth one that I've gone through with you, is anything that you can see from the sidewalk is you're going to get that money back.
It's money. So, you know, and I'm not going to get into too much, but if you want to get into that crazy grand entrance and what they call a grand entrance, and I'm not going to get into the whole thing on this, but that grand entrance is you're taking a 3068 door and reframing it with side lights and double gang electrical boxes moving over your switches. So you're rebuilding that whole front end, putting a bigger door in. Nice high-end fiberglass door you're putting in there, trim. You're having to do drywall work, all that stuff. Long story short on that, that's $9,000, $9,127. But you still get 75% of that back.
Still quality.
Still a quality one. So that's good. So let's dive into something a little more important here, too, that you see a lot of commercials on out there. Siding replacement.
Oh, yeah.
You see a ton of that out there. So they address that in this report, which I like. So siding replacement, you're going to replace 1,250 square feet of existing siding with new siding installed to a manufacturer's specifications, include factory trim at all openings and corners. Now, here's what's funny is they don't tell you really what kind of siding that is.
Yeah, they're not talking about...
They're not talking about if it's HardieBacker or if it's vinyl or if it's what, but they're just saying that's what an on-average siding replacement should cost. Now, a lot of the sidings, when you get into the composite stuff's all fairly close. So
there's not a huge range and discrepancy between them.
Exactly. So now we're not talking about painting it, too. We're talking about siding replacement. So when you get into that siding replacement, that adds up a little bit here. $16,794, but that's an 86% recovery. So that's siding on the outside. If you've got that ratty siding out there, maybe you've got somebody went through in the 80s and 90s and put in vinyl siding that's all faded and nasty and fallen off and broken and hasn't aged well. Guess what? It's not a bad way to get some money back out of the house. And
you probably need it.
probably need it. That's the key right there. So that's an interesting one. And I thought that was just kind of one of those things. I was like, wow, that's an interesting number. They're a little vague on it, which makes me wonder a little bit about it. But, it's not like the windows here. So let's get into windows. So when you're talking window replacement vinyl, so we're talking replace 10 existing 3x5 foot vinyl double hung windows with insulated low E, simulated divided light, custom color, exterior finish, trim exterior to match existing. You're not going to mess with the interior trim. So these are just the swap in, swap out replacement vinyl windows. So on average, now again, everybody's got different window sizes, so this isn't going to match yours, but just budget-wise, this is kind of what you should think for 10 decent-sized windows.
Okay.
So with that is $17,060. So 17060, and you get about 72.3% back. Now here's where that can make a difference. That's not counting. That's counting resale. That's not talking your energy savings.
Oh, yeah.
You might get. So if you've got really brutal bad windows in there, or they're bad, they're fogged up, drafty, you got all these fights, guess what? That, especially if you can find a rebate for energy efficiency, you're going to do even better.
Well, then you're going to see it on your monthly bill, or your heating bill, or your cooling bill. Come summertime, you'll see that you're actually going to be able to keep your house to the temperature that you want it because you aren't heating the neighborhood.
So you're going to get 72.3 back in value. Might get that other 25% pretty quick.
Yeah.
Coming back in the pocketbook through the energy savings. So that's something good to think about as well. I like that one. Now, if you want to step it up and do wood, you're going to do the same thing with hardwood windows. That one actually isn't much more. I was kind of surprised it wasn't a bigger number. But wood window replacement is only about $3,500 more. Okay. So you're $20,686. So you also get 71.5% back.
You're still
getting the same thing back. So you're spending an extra $3,500. You're getting a higher quality window, one that's going to look a little better on the inside, because that wood, I prefer the look of the wood on the inside. I think it looks better. I think it just gives you a good, especially if it's an older house, you're doing pretty good. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about roofing just as soon as Around the House returns. Welcome back to Around the House with Eric G. This is our song for all you people out there not pulling permits. This is where we talk home improvement each and every Saturday afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric G.
I'm Dane Vodder.
If you missed the show, don't worry. You can catch us on anywhere that you're going to find a podcast out there. So if you missed the last part of the show where you're talking about kitchens and bathrooms and what all these things cost, including some callers, don't fret. It's there for you to catch anytime you want, 24/7. Now, you want to talk about 24/7, give us a call in the studio here, because we want to help you out. That number, 503-521-7072, 503-521-7072. That's our 24/7 number. So call, text, or if you're shy, don't worry. You can message us on Facebook. Just go over to Around the House with Eric G. Send us a note there. We'll read your question on air. We'll get you either way. So join us in this conversation, because we want to help you.
We're also pretty proud of the fact that we're pretty good about getting back to almost everybody that sends us a message on Facebook. So don't be shy.
Don't be shy. And if we missed somebody out there by chance, get back a hold of us.
So send us another message.
I think we got a perfect record, unless we've had a Facebook glitch, which can happen from time to time. All right, let's run out to Peggy in Beaverton. It looks like you might be moving a master bathroom. Explain it to us.
Moving where my laundry is inside to the garage, so I can convert that space to a bathroom in the house.
Okay, so you want to take your garage, you want to take that out of your house and move it into the garage.
Right. We have like a Craftsman-style 2-story home.
Cool.
There is a powder room on one half of the walkway through, or the hall through is the toilet and the sink.
Okay.
Then on the other side is the laundry closet, so it has full-size washer and dryer, so there's plumbing and electric there.
Okay.
And we were thinking about, for the convenience of having a master suite downstairs, because all the bedrooms are upstairs. The downstairs used to have it has like a sitting room and a formal living room.
Gotcha.
We were going to convert it with French doors, so we were going to close that off and make it a master bedroom when we get older, instead of selling the house and moving.
Makes sense.
I wanted to see if we could make a full master bath in that area, But is it difficult when you've never had plumbing in the garage to add plumbing to the garage for the washer and dryer? That's really the only place you can go.
Yeah, it's not too bad. The one thing you got to keep in mind is that you might run into issues during the wintertime here. If we get one of those 20 degree, 15 degree or colder days, you have a chance of freezing things up in that garage. So like in California, you see it done all the time. They'll even put them outside on just a little lean-to thing outside on the outside of the house that's covered because they don't usually get cold enough to freeze. But here in the Northwest, we can run into some problems, especially in a garage, because it's not many times it's not insulated. It's cold out there. So what can happen is if we get a 10-degree morning, you run a risk of freezing up your washer and blowing the pump up in it. That's the only disadvantage to putting it outside.
Okay, and then once we've removed the washer and dryer and have new washer and dryer in the garage, is it going to be expensive to add a shower? Because that's what we need, or a shower or a tub or something.
Yeah, you're going to be doing that. I mean, you're going to be gutting in there of where you're putting that master suite, in that whole bathroom area. You're going to be kind of starting over. Is that a crawl space underneath that area?
No, there's a crawl space under the whole home. So
okay,
really
cool.
The first floor is all living space.
Okay.
In fact, there was a hair salon in the back half. She used it as a studio hair salon with one rinse bowl, sink bowl, and then she covered that up and took out the plumbing in the master room and made an extra master. Like I said, just the toilet and the sink for her customers. Then her washer and dryer was right there.
Okay. So you're just going to convert that over into the master. So that makes sense. It's depending on how they did it in there. If they did it right, it might not be that much to do it to add that in there. If they kind of just did, if they did like an 1.25 inch drain or something small the way through there, then you're going to have to make that a little bit bigger. But it shouldn't be that big of a deal. It's going to be a similar price to doing what a brand new gut for a bathroom would be anyway. I don't think it's going to be that much more. You're going to have some, you'll have to have some, electrical in there as well, because that'll need to be its own dedicated circuits and things like that for that bathroom. But it's not going to be any more generally than just starting over and putting doing a full remodel on a bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. That doesn't do that. I already opened up a line of equity credit on my home. So step one, the funds are there. Step two is getting the right people in.
Yeah, I would get work with a good remodeler. If you're going to do it yourself and journal it yourself, just really dial in on that design, and then just make sure with the building permit and stuff that everybody addresses those things before you dive in to make sure there's no hidden stuff.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for your time.
All right, hey, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Man, what a great call. I love this when we talk about these kind of things, especially when we're talking remodeling like this with the cost versus value report. That fits perfectly into what we're doing here.
Melds right into the show.
It does. So,
hey, real quick, if you want to meld into the show next week, we're talking paint.
Oh, we are going to have some serious paint calls next week that I want to get you involved in. So, 503-521-7072. 503-521-7072. We've got the expert coming in. So if you've got paint problems or you don't know where to start, we have the Northwest best expert on paint, Robin Daly. She'll be here. We'll be having a great time talking paint for everybody out there. So if you got that project, now's the time to get involved.
Don't miss your chance to get that question answered.
We had her earlier on in the year, last year, and a lot of people wanted to ask her questions. Now's the time.
Yep.
We're warning you.
A couple people weren't able to. I remember we had a lot of callers that show. We had a couple people we weren't able to get to.
So join us in the conversation. So that number, 503-521-7072. Want to talk roofing here because we're going to run out of time pretty quick. That's how these things go. So when you're talking roofing, you got a couple different angles from where these guys come from. And this is the cost versus value report from Remodeling Magazine. They spent a lot of time putting this together. So roofing replacement, asphalt shingles, what a lot of people put out there, those composite, shingles that you see out there. And this isn't shake, it's not metal, it's not clay tile, it's just asphalt shingles.
Yep.
So you're going to remove and dispose of existing roofing to bare wood sheathing, install 30 squares of minimum 235-pound fiberglass asphalt shingles, minimum of a 25-year warranty with new 30-pound felt or equivalent synthetic underlayment, galvanized drip edge, mill finish aluminum flashing, assume a rectangular hip roof, custom flashing at 2 average size skylights, custom cap treatment at vented ridge. So they're basically saying you're going to tear down. Now, here's the thing. If you've got asbestos in this, this isn't going to touch you. So again, be careful. This is just going to be a nice general number for a budget. If they've got to do other stuff with asbestos, it could be an additional cost.
That cost, it could definitely increase.
And you're not replacing any sheathing on this too. So if you've had roof leaks and other problems, or you're trying to remove a shake roof and put composite on, this isn't
totally
it either.
Different.
Totally different animal. So asphalt shingle, $23,994, and you get a 63% return. So pretty good. Now, in the Pacific, as an average for all of us West Coasties here, that's $25,476. So it's only a little bit more for the West Coast. But we get 63% here in the Northwest, 77% as an average on the West Coast. They might get a little bit. But keep in mind, though, you're taking into account a lot of heat,
those energy
other
savings.
You got other stuff going on there as well. So now let's get into what you see a lot more in the Northwest here, which I like because it looks kind of cool. Metal roofing.
Okay.
So, let's say you've got trees and you're up in the mountains and you got snow. All you people over there in KBND country or Eastern Washington over in KONA or down in Baker City, all you guys out there.
You know all about
this. This is for you. This isn't just a Portland show. We remember you guys.
We're all over the Northwest.
Oh, yeah, we are. So roofing replacement, metal. Remove and dispose of existing roofing to bare wood sheathing. Install ice barrier membrane at roof perimeter. And premium grade synthetic underlayment over roof. Install 3,000 square feet of pre-finished standing seam metal roofing with matching preformed accessories, including drip edge, gable trim, vented ridge flashing. You're going through and doing this whole thing in a metal roof. That roofing replacement cost $39,313, and you get a 56% return.
You kind of paused on the 39 there. I was wondering where you were going with that.
It's not as bad as what you think it is because you're going to get a lot longer life out of that because of that metal roof.
It's going to stand up against anything that
it is
Mother Nature throws at it.
Yeah, and so you run into a lot less problems, especially if you get snow. And we've had a lot of areas in snow in the Northwest here this year.
Yeah.
That snow likes to come off of it a lot easier. It's going to hold up to storms a little bit better. You're not going to have the blowing. We're losing your shingles as much. This stuff is much more durable like that. So I love the metal roofing. So if you're going to put something on there, that's the way to go. And get a little bit of the money back at the end. And it's going to last you probably the year you're going to be there at the house. So we come back, we're going to wrap this whole thing up just as soon as Around the House returns. This is where we talk home improvement every Saturday afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening to the show today. We talked a ton about remodeling and cost versus value because these are things when you're trying to plan out that project. I always tell you that is step number one. Try to figure out what your budget's going to be. What do you got to spend?
How much can you spend? And you know what? It's kind of good to kind of figure out the low end. Give yourself a little bit of wiggle room and a little bit of variation to be able to maybe upgrade to that higher end stuff. Just kind of pick and choose what you want, though.
That's the thing, because here's the thing. There's nothing worse than going through the pain of going through and pricing out a whole project, figuring out all the details to it, and then realizing that your budget is not even close to what the actual cost is.
I was going to say, as a designer, that's probably a nightmare.
It is, and good designers out there are going to have this number conversation with you, and it's tough because there's this disconnect between the design community and the homeowner, and it's been there since the beginning of time, and we all try to work around this. But what happens is the homeowner generally, and I say generally because this is definitely not always the case, but what happens is that the homeowner doesn't want to give that number up because they think that designer and contractor is going to spend every dime plus 20% of it. So what happens is you've got a designer that can design a project to be low end or high end, and that can actually double the number depending on what materials you put in there. You've got a homeowner that's holding on to that number inside their head that doesn't want to let that go because they know if they mention it, they've spent it. And so there's a hard discussion that has to take place there in this whole process of, okay, this is going to cost X. Can you afford X? And once that happens, it needs to happen as early on in the process as possible. Because what happens is a good contractor and a good designer can walk in and go, this project's going to cost you about this on average. And if they're cool with it as a homeowner, awesome. Now you can move forward.
Now you're in a ballpark.
Now you can start working on it. Now you can have that discussion and start talking about those materials of where they go up and down and how that's going to relate to keeping things on budget. If you don't, that's how projects get out of control. That's how you hear about all the nightmares of stuff that's happening out there. And if you're hiring a contractor out there, make sure they're licensed, bonded, insured. Even in most states, if you're hiring a handyman, they got to be licensed, bonded, insured. So make sure that you do all of that, because that's what's going to protect you and your pocketbook. Because if that handyman's up there cleaning the gutters and they fall off the ladder and they take a header onto your concrete patio
and they're not insured,
guess what?
That's on you.
That's your hospital trip. That's your ICU payment to the hospital. Oof. Because they're your employees. So these are things that I really want people to be careful with out there. And I'm going to rip on Nextdoor for a minute. I see a ton of people on there that are selling their services for handyman and contractor stuff that are not licensed, bonded, insured. So be careful on these apps. It's the new Craigslist.
Just your neighborhood handyman.
That
could cause you a whole lot of headaches.
Oh, yeah. All it takes is for somebody to get hurt once, and you could have hired the most expensive contractor, and it would have been pennies on the dollar for what you're paying now. So,
ouch.
Not trying to scare you guys out there, but that's what it is.
Straight.
Yep. You got to protect yourself, protect your pocketbook, and more importantly, protect your family. There's a ton of great contractors out there, but the key is making sure that you're working with the right ones and not the wrong ones, so you don't end up on next season's Catch a Contractor. Hey, make sure you like our Facebook page, Around the House with Eric G, because this week we're going to have more content coming up. Got some fun, exciting stuff up as well. I'm also going to put a link where you can go on to Remodeling Magazine and get your own copy of this report so you can download it. They're going to ask you a couple questions, your name, address, telephone number, and stuff, and then you can free download this from Remodeling Magazine. So I'll put that up on our Facebook page after the show here. That way you've got it, because we really need to have it so you can use this for your own tool. So we'll be good. So, all right. Well, guess what? This show went quick.
That's all the time we have.
That is. My thanks to executive producer Dean Vaughter for making the show sound great. Give us a call at 503-521-7072 for all your questions 24/7 to our hotline. We'll put you on the show. Check us out online at AroundTheHouseOnline.com. Most of all, though, we want to thank you for listening. We want you to join us next week for, once again, we talk about maintenance, repair, designing for remodeling, and renovation of your home. Until then, be sure you do what you love what you do. This is the Radio Northwest Network. I'm Eric G.
I'm Dane Vaughter.
And you've been listening to Around the House.
Around the House with Eric G is produced by Alpha Media USA in association with Design by Eric G LLC. All rights reserved. Copyright 2019. We will be back next week. If you missed part of the show, check out the podcast and all the shows at AroundTheHouseOnline.com. Remember, measure with a micrometer, mark with chalk, and cut with an axe. Thanks for listening to Around the House.